Hello, 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 my brothers and sisters. It is dinner time, so come on in, come on in. It's that time. We're about to approach the over the hump day, my brothers and sisters. But before we get to the over the hump day, come on in. I got something very nutritional for your mind and your heart, brother, and your spirit. So come on in. You know we talk about relationships at this dinner table. So I want you, brothers and sisters, go ahead and invite some of your friends and all the family members. Come on in, come on in. We are about to get into it tonight. The table is set, and I want you all to be freely to express yourself at the dinner table, long you do it with respect. So come on in, come on in, come on in. Like I stated, you can go ahead and invite some of your friends, my brothers and sisters. I will appreciate, because we got plenty of din tonight. How you doing, Sister Keisha? How you doing? Come on in, come on in. In a few more seconds, we're going to jump into this broadcast, and I know that it will be very nutritional for you, brothers and sisters, because you know your brother Tony have cooked a good meal tonight. So get ready. The chef is ready. Hold on. We're about to get to it. Well. How you doing, brothers and sisters? I hope that you all are doing well. Your brother Tony is in the house. I'm sorry for coming late, but you know, the food, I just had to let it marinate a little bit, so I'm here so you can enjoy this particular meal that I'm about to present to your souls, my brothers and sisters. So get ready. We're about to hit it. If this is your first time looking at this particular broadcast, or if this is your first time having dinner with us, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk on relationships. When I talk about relationships, I talk about relationship between that of a man and a woman. From a biblical perspective, when I say biblical perspective, I believe strongly that God, He created the man first, that man Adam, and he had a unique relationship with Adam. Secondly, he had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. And once he created Eve, he represented thirdly Eve to Adam. Fourth, Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she came from man. And he said that in the presence of God. However, if there are anyone that come to this dinner table and you believe in another type of relationship other than what God say in his word, you have what is called a free will. You do whatever you choose to do. God don't make you do anything. But if you sit at this particular table, my brother and sister, I come from Genesis, when God created the man and the woman. But I encourage you to look at it, because this meal is for you too. Okay, it's for you too. With that said, tonight's broadcast, my brother and sister, is topic: God will warn you before he allows a man or a woman to hurt you. Let that sink into your ear, my brother and sister. God, that's right, God, the Father of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, he will warn you before he allows a man or a woman to hurt you. Now, this is going to be a very sensitive topic, because some of you brothers and sisters, you have been burnt before. Some of you brothers and sisters are on the verge of getting burnt. Some of you have been burnt and you bitter towards relationship. Some of you brothers, you don't want nothing to do with no woman no more. Some of you sisters don't want nothing to do with no men no more, because of some things that you utilize your free will, my brothers and sisters, okay? How you doing, Sister Olivia? Sister Olivia says she hard-headed, okay? But we got something for you, Olivia, so stay around to the dinner table, because we're going to chop it up tonight. How you doing, Sister Enya? All of you all come on in, because we got plenty of room at the dinner table. We're about to jump into it. Those of you that are coming in, tonight's topic is God will warn you before he allows a man or woman to hurt you. Now, we're about to lay the foundation, okay? We're about to lay the foundation. Listen up. Do not hear me, my brother and sister. Listen up. We're going to God's word first. And in God's word, it said, as it is written. Directly from God's word, it said, as it is written. We're going to 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14 through 17. Again, we're going to 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14 through 17. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, 14 through 13. Paul wrote to the Corinthians. This is a spiritual application, but it goes over all types of relationship. But we're going to talk about the relationship between a man and a woman. This applies to a man and a woman before you get into a relationship. Brothers and sisters, those of you that are brothers and sisters, you need to understand this. You have what is called wisdom. You have what is called understanding. You have what is called knowledge. And you have what is called discernment. Again, you have wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and discernment. You have all of that. But some of you have gotten into the relationship, you got burnt. Some of you are sizzling right now in a relationship. And some of you, like I said a little earlier, you got burnt so bad you don't want no part of no man or no woman. That's it for you. But brother and sister, you had a free will. Now back to 2 Corinthians chapter 6, 14, 17. Paul is talking. Paul said, do not be yoked together with unbeliever. Or to say it differently, don't be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. Brothers and sisters, if you are a child of God, brothers, if you're a son of God, sister, if you're a daughter of God, you know better. You know better. It said, don't get yoked with an unbeliever. What is an unbeliever? An unbeliever is a man and a woman that does not follow the Lord Jesus Christ as you do. Paul go on to say, for what does righteousness and wickedness have in common? Nothing. Paul also goes on to say, or what fellowship can light and darkness have? None. Paul continues to say, what harmony can there be between Christ and the devil? Definitely zero. Paul go on to say, how can a believer be a partner with an unbeliever? Zero. Paul continues to go on and say, and what union can there be between God's temple and an idol? Zero. Paul continues to go on. He said, for we are temples of the living God. As God said, I will live in them and walk in them. You got to understand it, brother, sister. If you have the Spirit of God, Paul said, by God's Spirit, I will live in them and walk in them. I will be their God and they will be my people. Therefore, come from among unbelievers and separate yourself, saith the Lord. Don't touch their filthy things, and I will welcome you. God does not want you, brother, dealing with an unbelieving woman. Sister, God does not want you to be in fellowship with an unbelieving man. God will warn you, brother. God will warn you, sister, before he allow a man or a woman to hurt you. And you know what? Before you really get hurt, this is what's going to happen. When we go to Proverbs chapter 18:12, it said, Proverbs 18:12, it said, before destruction, listen carefully, before destruction, the heart of man is haughty, but before honor is humility. That means, brother and sister, before something go down on you, you have what is called a red flag. How you doing, Brother Moses? You have what is called a red flag. But the thing about it, brothers and sisters, some people ignore red flags. Just like me. I'm going to take myself for example. In my past, brother and sister, I have ignored red flags because I thought that I was an exception to the rule. But by me thinking that I was an exception to the rule, I had to find out this the hard way. That there's no exception to the rule. Because one man or woman got burnt, and I thought that I could go around. I thought that I was so smart, but I wasn't that smart. You understand? I ignored red flags. You know why I ignored red flags? Because I was doing it Tony's way. So when I did it Tony's way, I failed, but I'm not a failure. But I failed. I could have prevented some heartaches. I could have, since I'm a man, I could have prevented some headaches. I could prevented some heartaches. And I could have avoided some financial aches. So I got hit mentally. I got hit emotionally, and I got hit by my pockets for doing it my way. Like some of you brothers, you did it your way. So some of these women that you're dealing with, brother, they have hit you or going to hit you mentally. They're going to hit you emotionally, and then they're going to hurt you financially. How you doing, my little sister Renee? Now, let me tell you, sisters, how it's going to go. When you deal with unbelievers, you going to get hit emotionally because women are emotional. So you're going to get hit emotionally. You're going to get hit hard because that sweet talking devil, he got into your heart. And then after he got into your heart, he got into your mind. And when he got into your mind, he had your body. That's what he did. He had your body. Most worldly women want the bag from men. They look at men like an ATM machine. Most worldly men look at women as pleasure. And that's how it is. So some of you brothers, some of you sisters, you have been burnt. Because your brother Tony know what he's talking about. Because your brother Tony have been burnt before. Like a lot of you have been burnt. A lot of you are being burnt right now as I speak. A lot of you have been burnt, and that's why you don't want nothing to do. But let me tell you, those of you that have been burnt, don't look at every man and every woman as they're going to burn you. The only thing about it, my brother and sister, you learned that the stove was hot, even though it was cold. It seemed like it was cold. But you want to touch it. You know this, my brother and sister, this how God does when it comes to warning. It's just like when you was young, my brother and sister. You remember when your mother, your father used to say, don't touch that. Don't touch it. They knew what they was talking about when they said, don't touch it. But when they turned their head, you were thinking, brother and sister, that couldn't be that bad. Why my mom and dad told me not to touch it? It couldn't be that bad. So you went ahead in the kitchen. They said, don't touch the stove because it's hot. You heard the word hot, but you didn't know what hot felt like until you put your hand on it. You thought that you was an exception to the rule. And then you got burnt. And then you started hollering, right? You ran to your mom and daddy with your hands out. And they knew what had happened. And you know what they normally say? I told you not to touch that stove. And that's how some of you brothers have done. You have touched some of those hot girls. Some of you sisters have touched some of those hot boys. And you got burnt. Because you thought you were an exception to the rule. Like your brother Tony thought he was an exception to the rule. But I admit that I made some errors. You know why I made some errors? Because, number one, what are red flags? I ignored the red flags like some of you brothers and some of you sisters. You're ignoring it. I ignored it in the past. But let us see what red flags mean. When we go to the dictionary, my brother and sister, a red flag is defined as warning of danger. That's what a red flag is. Warning of danger. A warning sign, a sign that there is problem that should be noticed or dealt with. Now, brothers and sisters, when it comes to God will warn you before he allow a man or a woman to hurt you. You know the number one thing that causes us to get hurt when it comes to relationship, my brother and sister. The number one thing is some men and some women try to select a mate without going to God first. It's that simple. That's number one. What causes us to get burnt? God will allow if God's spirit is in you, my brother and sister, his spirit will be communicating with your soul. Because it's not going to go that smooth. You're going to experience some peace, but let me tell you what the Spirit of the Lord will also let you do. The Spirit will teach you. The Spirit of the Lord will say, that's too good to be true. Because God said, I am the truth. But when a man and a woman try to show you something and it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. So you ignored it, my brother, and you know it, my sister, because some of you brothers, you looked at this particular woman and say, this unbeliever that is, you said, she looks so nice. She's so fine. She got it all together. She like a good, that's a beautiful arm piece for me to walk around and let people say, man, you the man, because that's a beautiful woman. You got wrapped up in her beauty, but you weren't thinking about her mind. How you doing, Sister Flo and Sister Cher? You didn't think about her mind, brother. You didn't think about her mind. You know why? Because when I first met my wife, I told, and some of you have heard this before, when I first met my wife, I told my wife, I said, you look nice. You're a beautiful woman. But that ain't enough for me. She said, what you mean that ain't enough for you? I said, I got to know how you think. Because I have been hoodwinked before, based on what a woman look like and is she fine and stuff. But we see, when the Spirit of the Lord say, okay, Tony, Cinderella, she look good. But get into her inside. See, is my spirit there? So I had to use the Spirit of the Lord to detect whether we weren't married at that time, but I had to use the Spirit of God. The Spirit of God shined it on my potential wife at that time. So he opened me up. He showed the flashlight on my wife to see whether or not she had the Spirit of God in her. That's the number one thing. Did she have the Spirit of God in her? Because I know beauty fade away in time. I knew that. And I have been down that road before. So I had to say to myself, does she have the Spirit of God in her? Is she a Proverbs 31 woman? She's not perfect. I'm not perfect, but does she have the traits of a Proverbs 31 woman? How many of you brothers, when it comes to a woman, you be thinking from a spiritual standpoint when you meet a woman, does she have the characteristic of a Proverbs 31 woman? Or does she have the characteristic of a twerker, a worldly woman, a Jezebel? That's right. I said, does she have the characteristic of a Jezebel or a Delilah? Or does she have the characteristic of a Ruth or Esther or Sarah or Mary? Does she have those type of qualities? So you have to see, brother, with the Spirit of the Lord, because the Spirit of the Lord won. And some of you sisters, you get hooked up in these men, worldly men. Your spirit telling you, he sure look handsome. What type of car he got out there? What kind of bank account he got? What he does? Can he get my nails done? Can he get my hair done? Can he give me some money for girl trips and all that kind of stuff? Can he do that? But the Spirit of the Lord telling you that he may have all of that, but you have my spirit, and you supposed to be thinking about what's going on inside that man. Did I bring you and put you in front of that man, or did Satan bring one of his sons in front of you? That's how you sisters supposed to think. Is this man approaching me from God? Did God bring this man to find me, or did Satan bring this man to hunt me down? That's what some of you sisters need to go. So some men and women, you try to select a mate without going to God. As it is written, my brothers and sisters, as it is written in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 6. That Proverbs chapter, how you doing, Brother Nate? Proverbs chapter 3, 5 through 6. Proverbs 3, chapter 5 through 6. It said, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. They go for everything, including a relationship. And it said, in all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. You understand that, my brother and sister? I failed that test before. Like some of you have failed it. Some of you are failing now. Some of you have failed it. Some of you, how should I say it? Some of you are about to fail. Some of you are failing. Some of you have failed. And I have been through all those stages. So, brother and sister, God is warning you. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. That means whatever you think, throw it out the window. Because your understanding, brother, your understanding, sister, just like mine, it don't mean nothing, because you need the Spirit of the Lord to be able to utilize your wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding, your discernment. And it's saying all your ways submit to him. So that means, brother, if you're interested in a woman, you have to go talk to the Lord. It said in all your ways submit to him. That's including a potential mate. That go for you too, sister. And then it say, after that, and he will make your path straight. He will let you see, the Lord will let you see what's in that man or woman. He will let you see the red flags. He will actually let you see the red flag. But the thing about it, it goes to number two. Number two is some men and some women, they think that they can mold a potential person into a perfect person. You understand that? Some men and some women think that you can mold a potential mate into a perfect person. On a subconscious level, you think that. So consciously, you look at that man and woman and say, I could work with him. I could suggest some things to him or her, and I could mold him or her how I want him or her to be, and he or she really won't know it. But I know what I'm doing because I'm playing the role of God. I'm playing the role of God, so I can mold that woman, you brother, I can mold that woman to how I want her to be. And some of you sisters, I can mold that guy to how I want him to be, because you're playing God. God don't mold people into how he want them to be unless they allow God to do it. But some brothers and sisters, you want to force your artistic work on a man or woman. Some of you think that you're Leonardo da Vinci. You think you could paint. Or Picasso. You think you could do all that kind of stuff. You think you're an artist, don't you? You think the master, you think that you are into ceramics. Some of you sisters know what I mean by ceramic. Some of you brothers know what ceramics. Some of you actually think that you could get, you think you God, you think you could get some clay and you think you can make the perfect man and woman, don't you? It won't work because you're not God. So stop trying to thinking that you can mold a potential person. Number 3, some men and some women, they overlook something that they don't like. But they think if we get married, he or she will stop that what I don't like. I could tolerate it. I'm going to smile, but I don't like what him and her doing. I don't like that cussing. Why he or she have to do all that cussing? I can't take him or her around my people and they doing all that cussing. Why he or she dressed that way? I can't take him or her around my family and friends and to important engagement and all that kind of stuff. I can't do that. I can't take that person nowhere he or she like to into drugs and stuff, and they want to go around asking people, do they have a blunt? Do they sniff cocaine? Or do you have a whole bunch of Hennessy? Cause I'm Snoop Dogg. I'm here in the house. Do you have some Hennessy's? Cause we gonna crank this party up. You dealing with somebody that you know is an alcoholic. Or, better yet, some of you sisters, you got this guy, and every time you ride him, he looking at other women. He don't only look at women straight ahead. When a woman go by, he doing all of this. He just looking at these other women in your face. He don't care nothing about you, but you think you're going to change that, right? Oh, by the way, brothers, that woman that you have, she got a whole bunch of male friends, don't you? They always calling her, checking on her, don't they? They always call her. She say, I don't have no girlfriends. All of my friends are males. What that tell you, brother? I better leave that alone. Some men and women got married because of what that person has, but not for what that person is. God showed you, brothers and sisters, what that man and woman is. But you got attracted to things. You got attracted to shiny things. You got attracted to what that man or woman appear to have. Not who that person really is. You messing with a low down, dirty man or woman, but you like what he or she has. So you get hooked up with that unbeliever because of what he or she have. And you just don't know, my brother and sister, your home is not going to be heaven-like. You're not going to get a taste of heaven. You're going to get a whole bunch of tastes of the hell in your home. It's not going to be a home, by the way. It's going to be you're going to be living in a house. Because you see, a home is where peace is at. A home, my brother and sister, see, God is the author of peace, not the author of confusion. Another thing, number 5, some men and women, they just settle. Some men and women, you settle. What do I mean by that? You just give up all hope. He or she, they're all right. They're all right. You don't say all right. They're all right. I just go with this person until I have to push up daisies. He all right. You see, you shortchanging yourself, brothers. You shortchanging yourself, sister. God brings the best to you. You understand? God brings the best woman to you, brother. She's not perfect now. Sister, God calls the right man to find you. He's not perfect now, but he's right. But some of you brothers, you want to settle for mediocre women. And you know God have equipped you, brother, with his purpose. But you want this woman that she's a liability. Why do you want a woman that's a liability, brother? You need a woman that's an asset. You need a woman that's going to come in that got her stuff together on the inside first. She don't only have a little pretty face or a little feisty body, but you want her to have something on the inside. You want her to be that Proverbs 31 woman. Like I said, you don't want the Jezebel spirit. You don't want the Delilah spirit. You understand that? Some of you sisters, you don't want to deal with these shyster men like Simon. Who is Simon? I'm not talking about Simon Peter. I'm talking about that Simon that was in the book of Acts, that when he seen the apostles, the gift that God had gave to them, he tried to buy it. He was all about the ching-chang, the money. But you settled. And when you settled, God gave you the red flag. God have the best. God, my brother and sister, he have a ram in the bush for you. You thought Abraham was the only one that had the ram in the bush. God always have the best substitute. All you have to do is trust in the Lord. With all your heart, lean not to your own understanding, and all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Number six, some men and some women want to impress other people. That's just like how some men and women, they want to buy the biggest house on the block. They want to have the flyest car. They want to have the flyest car. They always want people to think they got it made. You see, a lot of these people, they want to think, you all think some people have it together because they could go on a whole bunch of trips and stuff, right? They just trying to impress other people. So a lot of people, when they get the biggest house, when they get the flyest car, when they going on trips all the time, what you don't understand, my brother and sister, those type of individuals, they're empty on the inside. That's what you got to understand. They're empty on the inside, but they're trying to impress other people. They're trying to impress other people that don't even like them or don't even care for them. And I hope some of you are not like that. Are you trying to impress someone, brother, by that woman because she look pretty and she got that little nice shape? Are you trying to impress other men? Or are you trying to cause that other woman that you were dealing with, are you trying to cause her to be jealous? Oh, sister, are you trying to impress other men or the man that you just left because he got more money and status than him? Is that what you're trying to do? You trying to make that other man jealous? Or, sister, are you trying to impress other women because you got this popular man, this renowned man, this articulate man? Is that what you're trying to do? Impress others? A lot of men and women try to impress other people that don't like them and don't care. And when everything is said and done, you just like Natalie Cole. You all remember that song by Natalie Cole years ago? What Natalie Cole said, I'm catching hell, living here alone. You in a relationship with someone, but you living alone. You hooked up with a narcissist, man or woman. But it's good for showtime, ain't it? It's good for showtime. Number 7, God warn you on this. You don't have to be alone. But there are some men and some women are afraid to be alone. You are afraid to be alone. That's why you have to attach onto a no good man or a no good woman. You're afraid to be alone. Because your family and friends, they got mates, right? Since your family and friends, they got mates, you want to be a part of you want some of that too. So you grab onto anybody because you're afraid. Yeah, you're right. So the flow, you are afraid to go to a pick. You afraid to go to a picnic with your family friend alone. You'd rather have some old dusty man or dusty woman going there. That don't mean you no good. They can't bring nothing to your spiritual table or your fleshly table. They can't do nothing because you're afraid to be alone. You're not alone, my brother and sister, because if you have a relationship with God, you're not alone. But you feel lonely. That's the key part. You feeling lonely. You're not really alone. You see, lonely, you still can rejoice when you're lonely. Now let me retract that. How you doing, mother? When you are alone, you still can rejoice when you are alone. But when you're lonely, you can go into depression. That's why some men and women, they have to take medication because they feel lonely. They want to jump off the top of their houses because they're feeling lonely. When you have God, you might have a sensation of being alone, but you're not lonely. You see, if you had God, you're not thinking about crossing the road and you see that big 18-wheeler coming and you hear it coming, but you want to walk across the road. But if you have God, my brother, if you have God, my sister, God will bring that right person into your life. But you have to follow God, and it's all about God first. God is the first priority in your life, my brother and sister. After God is the first priority in your life, what did the Lord say? Basically, and I'm paraphrasing it, when a man delight in the Lord, or he's all about the Lord, then get what the Lord will do. This for a man and a woman. He will give you the desires of your heart. It's in God's word. He will give you the desires of your heart. And not only that, he's going to give you some desires that you didn't even ask him for. God will warn you, brother. God will warn you, sister. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you singing? Are you thinking? Are you feeling? God is utilizing all your being, your inside and your outside, to get an assessment of that man or woman, so you will not get mental disturbed or mental breakdown. You won't have a broken heart where you're going to be boo-hooing all the time. And people, let me tell you this, brother and sister, God will warn you through other people too. God will warn you through other people. You think you're in love with that crap man or woman, that crap man or woman, and you take them around your family and friends that really care for you, those that really care for you now, and they would pull you to the side and say, hey, you see, they ain't got nothing invested in that person. They invested in you. And they could see something, brother and sister, that you can't see. God used other people to warn you. If not that they are trying to mess up your thing. And some of you, brother and sister, this is a mistake that some of you mess up with. When you get warnings from your family and friends, and you still try to hold on to that zero, you're one, but you're dealing with a zero. What else can you get if you got a zero? Most zeros don't have no value. Most zero, whether a man or a woman, are liabilities. They are spiritual liabilities first. When you, brother, are a son of God, and you are a sister, you're a daughter of God, you shortchanging yourself. God have given you a warning. God do not want you to be with it for zero. That's for Satan. You playing with Satan's sons. Again, let me go over this part again before I get out of here. We're going back to 2 Corinthians chapter 6, 14 through 17. Again, my brother and sister, 2 Corinthians chapter 6, 14 through 17. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, 14 through 17. This is about being unequally yoked again. Listen. Don't hear. Listen. Do not be yoked together with unbeliever. How you doing, Brother Larry? Don't be yoked together with an unbeliever. For what? Let's answer these questions, my brother and sister, because Paul put some very important questions out. Every time I read it, remember it come from, that's right, what Sherry got down there. If you all want to check it out, you see what Sherry got down there? That's what you go, that's where you go. Now, these are some questions that Paul asks, okay? He said, for what do righteousness have with wickedness have in common? That make you say, what does righteousness and wicked have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? What can light and darkness have in common? Or what harmony can there be between Christ and the devil? Do the devil and Christ have anything in common? What do they have in common? Another question. How can a believer be a partner with an unbeliever? Very interesting. How can that work? How can that work? And what unity can there be between God's temple and an idol? What do we mean by God's temple? Do we mean by the church building? No, because God don't live in church buildings. God lives in people. When Jesus referred to a temple, Jesus referred to a body. Right before Jesus was about to get crucified, he told these Pharisees, he basically told them, if you tear down this temple, I'll rise it up in 3 days. They thought that he was talking about Solomon's temple. But Jesus was talking over their heads. Jesus was talking about his body by being crucified. After Jesus was saying, when you kill this body, I'm going to raise it up in 3 days. But Jesus referred to his body as a temple. You know why your body is a temple, my brother and sister? Because your body is a temple. The real you live on the inside of the body. Your soul live inside there. Also, the Spirit of God live in there. When you die, if you die before Jesus comes, your body just going to die. Your soul and spirit lives on. Your soul and spirit is not at the graveyard. I hate to tell some of you people this. Your soul and spirit is not at the graveyard. That body of your loved ones at the graveyard. And I hate to tell you this, my brother and sister, they can't hear you. When you go to the graveyard, I have to be truthful with you, my brother and sister. When you go to the graveyard, you talking. You talking. They can't hear you because you talking to a dead body. The real person that you knew the day he or she left out the body died, that's the day he or she went with the Lord, depending on their choice, or they went the other way. They're in a spiritual world. They don't have no contact with this world. The person that you knew, the only thing when you go to a funeral, my brother, sister, listen to this. The only thing what happens when you go to a funeral is you see a body. That's the body that person that you love used to live in. He or she, the day he or she left, if they died Monday, and you go to a funeral on Saturday, the day they died on Monday, they gone. The only thing you're looking at is that temple, that body. And let me tell you this, my brother and sister, why does the body decay? Do you know what keeps your body alive? Your soul and spirit in your body. Once the soul and spirit leave out, your body is going to decay. Why do you think they put that embalming fluid in your body once you die? Why do you think they try to do that quicker? Just think about it. Why do they want to put that stuff in you at the funeral home? Why they do that? They're trying to preserve your body so your family friend could see your butt if you die on your funeral day. Especially, let me be real clear, especially some of black people. You know, we try to hold bodies out for 2 weeks or a month until everybody come from out of town, right? That's how a lot of black people do. But how does the other races do? They go ahead and do it quick. But we want to hold on to those bodies for a long period of time. Your body is a temple. But let me get back to this. For we are temples of the living God. As God said, listen to this. As God said, I will live in them and walk among them. You see, that right, Sheriff, they bury you the next day. They ain't wait for a whole bunch of people to come in. A whole bunch, and this, you know, I'm just talking about us in general, our race in general. We wait for these people to come out of town, right? We want to hold the body for 2 weeks, right? Until these people come out of town. You notice this, a lot of people that come out of town and stuff like that, they ain't been trying to make no effort to come see grandmama or granddaddy or dad or mama, brother. They ain't been trying to make no effort. Why do they have to come when it's funeral time? Have you ever noticed, my brother and sister, that's the most time, if you dead, my brother and sister, if you die, that's the most people that going to be around you at that time on your funeral day. And you ain't gonna even be there. You ain't gonna know what's going on. That's when everybody want to come together. That's when everybody want to hug. That's when everybody want to kiss. And when you be there, everybody going to heaven. Have you ever been to a funeral where everybody go to heaven? And a lot of those preachers, they be up there lying. And you notice a lot of people, they say rest in peace. Everybody don't rest in peace. That's a lie. Everybody that died don't rest in peace. That's a lie. But, you know, we have to tolerate it. We have to tolerate it. You know not to say too much. You know not to say that, but that's free of charge. I just had to tell you all that. Again, back to what Paul said. I will live in them and walk among them. I will be their God, and they will be my people. So God is living in you, brother and sister. He's walking in you. So that means that you have the Spirit of God to depend on. You do not, brother, have to be hurt by a man or woman, because God's Spirit is going to talk to you. It's a matter of if you're going to listen. Are you listening to God's Spirit? When a man or woman be around you, it's not no vibes that they're giving you. You using your spiritual discernment. God is warning you. He's warning you. He's warning you. You see that light flashing. He's warning you. But he's not going to stop you. He's not going to stop you. I'm going to tell you this before I go. When I was out there in the world, mama, close your ears because you're listening. When I was out there in the world, I could get in the car. It could be a hookup, and you all know what I mean by a hookup, right? It could be a hookup. I could get in my car, and I was in Christ, but I rebelled. I sinned against God. This is how I sinned against God. I can get in my car, I get that phone call. This is what happened. I'm going to cut this short. Hello, what's up? Nothing much. How your day been going, Tony? My day been going okay. What you doing? I'm just looking at Lifetime. You want me to come by and look at Lifetime with you? Of course, you can come on. Come on. Okay, I'll be there in 1 million of a second. Holla. While I'm driving, I'm driving. The Spirit of God saying, don't go, Tony. Don't go. You about to sin. You going over there to fornicate. And she know you coming over there to fornicate because she want to fornicate too. While I'm driving, I don't know what's going on in this woman's head. All I know is she probably jumped up, put some makeup on. If she had a wig on, she did like that if she had a wig. And then she go to the bathroom real quick and get freshened up. And she probably been told the same thing. Probably. I don't know because I went in her mind, but I can tell you about me. I'm driving in my car. And the Spirit of the Lord saying, Tony, don't do that. Don't go. You know what? You know you going over there. You see, mama, you see, y'all see my mama, she making that comment, oh my God, what? Mama, put your hand to your ears like this, okay? But anyway, I'm going over there. God's Spirit saying, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I'm driving. And I'm trying to tune, that right, Katrina, it's funny. And I'm trying to tune the Spirit of God out. So I turn on my radio. And I'm trying to blast the music, right? Because I'm trying to get my mind off of it. But while I'm blasting, while I'm turning the radio on, guess what? A song come on. The devil, he had a song that came on. The song, Teddy Pendergrass, come on and go with me. Come over to my place. So the devil had a song out there for me. Or just for one night, all those kind of songs just coming on the radio, all those fornication songs. Let me make love to you just one more time. That Luther Vandross stuff. Can I make love to you just for the night? All that stuff. Satan just putting that music out there. So I had a little angel right here, and I had a little devil right here, and they were battling, right? The angel saying, don't do it. The devil said, yes, you do it. Don't do it, do it. Don't do it. All that kind of stuff, right? So I get there. And the Spirit of God is still talking, saying, Tony, you still have an opportunity. You still have an opportunity. But that she woman, Brother Mo said, I don't feel like being lonely tonight. Yeah, I don't feel like being lonely tonight. So that she woman came out there with that little, she went to Victoria because she went to Victoria because Victoria had some secrets for her, right? So Victoria told her some secrets. So I'm there. And she coming out there with that Victoria stuff, right? And I'm looking and I'm lusting. Yeah, right. I'm looking and lusting, right? She looking and lusting. And then Pop go to Weezy and the Weezy go Pop. And after that, I'm getting in my car. That's right. I failed. I sinned against God. I'm feeling bad. I'm feeling bad because I hurt God. I hurt God. God been so good to me, but I hurt him. So I'm feeling remorseful and I'm hurting. I'm feeling not so clean, even though I could have took a shower or wash off before I left this young woman's house, but I'm still feeling dirty. My body was not dirty. It was on the inside what was going on. I felt dirty. So I had to pray to God for forgiveness. And once I prayed to God for forgiveness, his son Jesus' blood continued to cleanse me because I was straight up with God and said, I done, and I called it what it was. I went ahead, some fornication. So I was straight up with God. So God, what God did, he forgave me because his son Jesus kept washing me. The hardest thing, my brother and sister, is for you to forgive yourself. That's the hardest thing, for you to forgive yourself. The Lord will forgive you like that. But when you do something, it bothers you, because what's happening, my brother and sister, you see, you're walking in the light as the Lord is in the light. But once you go outside the light, you're going into darkness. You understand? So let me tell you this, my brother and sister. The Bible say, listen to me carefully. I know a lot of you think that I'm perfect, right? And I hate to bust your bubble, but I'm not. Let me tell you, a lot of you are not perfect either. But let me tell you, the Bible clearly say in John, it said, if a man said that he has no sin, the truth is not in him. Listen to that again. John walked with Jesus. John, the Apostle John, James brother, walked with Jesus. And John said that if a man say that he has no sin, the truth is not in him. But we have an advocate with the Father, which is Jesus. You understand? Jesus. So what is Jesus doing when we sin, brother and sister? What Jesus does? Jesus is talking to God the Father. That's what Jesus is doing right now. He's running the whole world. But when we do wrong, he talked directly to God the Father. He said, look, I died for him. I paid for his sin, Father. I paid for her sin, Father. And God the Father said, you right, son, you did. But does that give us a license to sin? No, it doesn't give us a license to sin. We still supposed to go about doing what God wants us to do. Every man and every woman in God's Bible, brother and sister, they did something wrong. But they still were sons and daughters of God. I'm no different than them. You're no different. But the only thing about my brother and sister is this. When it comes to a relationship, my brother and sister, when it comes to a relationship, make sure the number one thing you do is Proverbs 3:5 again. Proverbs 3:5 again. It say, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Remember that, brother and sister. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, not man or woman, and lean not to your own understanding. That go from me, you brother, and you too, sister. And he will make, and in all your ways submit to him. Whatever you want to do, give it in front of the Lord, and then it say, and he will make your path straight. Thank you, brother, and thank you, sister, for having dinner tonight. We had a good dinner tonight, didn't we? We had a good dinner tonight. We got some leftovers. Now, y'all can take some of those leftovers and give it to some of your family and friends. Share with them, okay? I love you, brother. I love you, sister. Peace out.